Welcome back in, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us today. I hope your weekend, your long July 4th weekend was excellent. It is a privilege to have all of you back in the house tonight. I'm Ben Parker. This is Pro Football Plus, joined once again by Youssef, Austin, Shane. We're all up and down the East Coast representing all different kinds of teams, some that don't even exist anymore. But we're loaded tonight with NFL football and WNBA and MLB and Netflix and who knows what else we're going to drag in before this show is over. So let's get right to it. This week, the AFC North. We're going to try to predict the records. I thought this division was tough, especially two teams I didn't quite know what to do with. So I'm really curious to see where you guys are going to go predicting the records of the AFC North. Shane, what you looking at, man?
So, you already hit on it, Ben, how tough it is to kind of pick this one. The AFC North is the first division since 1935, where every team last year had a winning record. So I I had a tough pick. I picked the Bengals and the Browns, right in that 11 to 10 win range. I thought I went with the Bengals to win. I think they'll be 11-6. Uh, the Browns and Ravens ended up at 10-7 each. And then I thought that the Steelers on their run are going to be 9-8. So with a winning record, they'd still be the last in their division. The last time that the Steelers were last in a division was 1988. So if that doesn't tell you what type of run they've been on over these years and how tough this one division can be, um, I mean, I I would not disagree with anybody on this panel that says any of those teams completely switches around. I think there's quality in each of those teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if anyone pulls it out.
I think quality is a key word there. So I'm right in there with what a lot of you're laying down there. Youssef, how are you feeling about the four teams, man?
Oh man, like Gino said, man, this is a tough one, man. It really is come down to a coin flip. It could be pretty simple. But I'm going to go ahead and state what I got. I'm going with the Ravens to win again, 12-5. I got the Bengals behind them with the same record that Shane was talking about, 11-6. And I got the Browns at 9-8. And this is going to be the first time I will say this. I think the Steelers are going to have their first losing season in almost 20 years. I think now is the time that they're kind of ripe for it. I don't like what's going on with the quarterback situation. I don't care how buff they are at the gym. I don't care what's happening at Gold Gym. I don't like the prospect of coming out without a losing season. Everybody in that division has improved, and they always good on defense, but offensively they've been sputtering and haven't seen any real improvements there besides their buffed up quarterbacks. So
All right. It is tough to predict here. Austin, where are you at with these four?
I'm going to go reverse order. I think we'll go worst to first. I've also got the Steelers down at the bottom. I've got them just under 500 with 8 wins. Next up, I have a two-way tie for, I guess, second place in the division between the Browns and the Bengals, which means at 10 wins, which means I've got the Ravens coming out on top with 11 wins. I do think it's a super competitive division. The only thing I couldn't see happening is the Steelers winning it, I think, outright. I think any other of the three could absolutely go off, have a 13-win season and run away with the division. I just don't really think that's in the cards for the Steelers.
Yeah, so I'm right there with everything you guys are saying. I feel like I know the Ravens and the Bengals. I kind of sort of feel like I know what to expect out of them. So I put the Ravens at 12-5, winning the division, with the Bengals at 11-6, just kind of tucked in right behind. The Browns and the Steelers were the two teams that I really don't know what to expect from them. I mean, last year's Cleveland team was fantastic, but are they going to kind of repeat that same defensive magic with the same quarterback big error that they had? Is that going to happen again? And then the Steelers, man, I feel like they're better at quarterback than they were the past two seasons, and yet something doesn't feel like it's clicking right there as far as them being able to push through here and get to the playoffs again. So I've got the Browns and Steelers at 8-9 each, and I moved those two teams all over the place with win-loss. I still don't know what those two teams are going to be, but I'm in the same boat here. I could see so much happening here, pretty much what Austin said, almost anything happening except maybe the Steelers just winning the division outright. But anything else I could see here. these four teams, none of them are going to be easy to play. So that's where we're at on that. We'll enjoy watching this division during the regular season. NFL GM view. If you're the general manager of the Ravens, what position group are you most hoping the coaches can scheme and cover for? Ravens got a good team here, so I'm curious to see where you guys are going to go. Shane?
I went on one of my favorite go-tos, the offensive line. I think Tyler Linbaum is a great center in the making, but you let two guards go. I think they did make some draft picks to try to cover up that, but if I have a power running game and a power quarterback, I would have wanted to protect the middle and trust that those two guys could get around to the outside. So it's always interesting when they don't pick up guards. And for a lot of years, guard was a strength for Baltimore. Like they didn't necessarily always have great left tackles or a great right tackle, but they had Marshall Yando. They've had great center there and Matt Burke as well during his time. I mean, uh, like I said, my worry for them is the offensive line. You have all this running attack. You plan on trying to give Lamar Jackson some more time and some more weapons, and then you don't spend money to get somebody big you could have pulled up front.
There aren't a lot of obvious weaknesses on this roster, so I'm curious to see if anybody pulls up any here. Youssef.
Well, what Shane's talking about is going to be for our next question, right off the page. But tough question. Can they do almost everything well? I think the only point of contention I saw was the passing offense. They were like bottom third last year. So passing touchdowns above average, but the yards in the air are well below average. And I know the big thing about Lamar Jackson being a pocket passer and a dispute whether he was really that or not. Well, he definitely is that, but he didn't do a lot of it or as much as you would like him to do. When he ran or made plays with his legs, that's when he got into the most trouble, especially injury-wise, and it cost him down the stretch, I think. Matter of fact, the past few seasons was like that. So I'd rather him stay protected in the pocket, which was pretty decent, and and kind of protect himself throughout the longevity of a long season and not go out on injury. So I'll probably try to scheme to make him keep him in the pocket, use the weapons that you got, keep yourself healthy. You're not having a stretch run without your main quarterback because Tyler Huntley's gone, so you can't use him anymore. So you gotta, so just keep D on their heels and and throw more than you run would be what I would try to get them to do in this pass happy offense. Because what's the name? Todd Wingen. He's all about that. So utilize what you're trying to accomplish and utilize the skills that you got in a big arm like Lamar. So that's what I would do. In particular case, scheme for him to stay inside the pocket and not run so much.
I'm there with you on that as well. Austin.
Yeah, it's their wide receiver core. It's pretty bad. Zay Flowers, I was a big fan of coming out, and he shined. He is the number one here, even though he's not going to play, X receiver. He's mainly going to be kind of that flanker role, playing outside but off ball or off the line of scrimmage. They've got Rashad Bateman, who, is a former first-round pick. He's kind of been promised every year. It's like, oh, this is the Rashad Bateman year. It hasn't come, guys. It's not going to. He's being talked up by his teammates and coaches again this year. And, if you're expecting him to live up to his potential when he was drafted, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. But I do think he has some game. He's an NFL caliber receiver, but they need more than that. I mean, if he's your number two, you've got Nelson Aguilar as your three. You've got the rookie Devontae Walker out of UNC, who's kind of a fine piece. And that's it. There's not really another name besides maybe Malik Cunningham, former quarterback, like maybe if he makes a move to receiver, maybe you got a weapon there, but that's, nobody's relying on that. So yeah, this is a weak receiving core, but I didn't mention tight end. Tight end is a strong point for them. I do think Mark Andrews is still, a top 5-ish tight end in the league, and I'm a big fan of Isaiah Likely. I think he is a dynamic threat from the tight end position. So I think getting the use out of the tight ends is how they're going to supplement kind of lack of depth and really overall talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, see, I think y'all hit the two spots. I'm going to pick offensive guard for myself here because it does seem to be such a dip right there at the guard spots. I like the center, I like the tackles, but the guard spot, again, I pulled Derrick Henry in. I kind of sort of figure I just want to crush people up the middle, and I'm not sure I've got the guard play to do that, you know? So I'm kind of sort of hoping Derrick Henry and the strength then just kind of relieves a bunch of pressure on Lamar Jackson, and Lamar can just kind of be the artist and you know, set the table right there. But that's, I'm not totally sure Baltimore is going to be able to dictate as much as they would like to, but we'll see. Wide receiver depth is a huge problem, man. Listen, you mentioned Bateman, Austin. If Bateman is your 2, you don't have a good receiving core. If he's your 3 or 4, maybe, but not your 2. So they got a couple of problems there, but this is a good roster. We're not trying to pick on Baltimore. It's just the team we're analyzing today. These are the 2. I think these are the 2 obvious ones. Everywhere else, they look pretty strong. So we'll see how they can turn that into postseason success this year. Staying on the Baltimore Ravens. So NFL attack mode, topic 3 tonight. We're going to use any of the AFC North defenses, and we're going to attack that Ravens offense. So pick any defense you want to work with tonight. Doesn't have to be the best one, and see what you want to do with that Ravens offense. Shane.
In this case, I went with statistically the best one. I went with the Browns. I think the main thing starts and ends with Myles Garrett. If you're trying to protect a quarterback and you're trying to get a running game going, that man is an ultimate freak. He's probably going to be this year, with Aaron Donald gone, the most dominant defensive lineman in the league. And there is questions on maybe he was last year as well. I think the way they attack and they play out from underneath that makes it difficult. As Austin and you hit on, you know, I'm not worried about the wide receivers. I worry about the tight ends. But if I have strong defensive ends, I can hold those guys in. As we talked about already, I think the best guard on the Ravens is Patrick Ricard, and he plays fullback for him. So that's difficult when you're going to try to block up the middle. If you bring pressure from them, I think that's where it goes. But I think any of these defenses, again, maybe minus the Bengals, they're going to attack it the same way. They have an awful lot of edge pressure and attack the Ravens to try to get to them and get Lamar moving around. And, you know, you hope for an injury if you're on the defensive side to be able to stop him.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yusef, how you feeling on this attacking the Ravens offense thing, man?
Kind of in the same realm, going Browns. I think we already mentioned that left guard was definitely a deficiency there. And Myles Garrett, like Shane said, he's the man. 8th in sacks, tied for 3rd in forced fumbles. So he got a nose for the ball. He's right there. I'm not a big fan of Shelby Harris. I watched him for 5 years in Denver. Probably averaged about 3.5, 4 sacks in 5 years. Yeah, it's not going to work out over here. But I mean, it's a low hanging fruit, man. I mean, this Browns defense is incredible, man. I mean, they probably allow 4 yards per play. I mean, they rank 2nd in that. Man, they got the best passing defense, best first down allowed. They don't allow many first downs in the game. I think it's like 12, 13. 3rd down conversion rates, they're super low, 28%. They got this. So just keep on working that. I think that's the answer. So Shane hit it spot on, man. Going with the Browns, low hanging fruit, baby.
I like it. Austin.
So, generally speaking, I don't like to go for the low hanging fruit on these because you know I never have. So I picked the Steelers, who are a very, very good defense, guys. Like, let's not like this whole division has really good defenses, but I went the Steelers. I do think the Steelers actually match up pretty well, and here's why. TJ Watt, not quite Myles Garrett, but I mean, the next closest thing really in the league we have to Myles Garrett, I think, in terms of a guy who can get sacks. There's more Garrett can do. I think has a little bit more versatility, maybe is the word for it. But if you're just talking about purely sacking the quarterback, TJ Watt's right there. I talked about how the receivers aren't that talented. Joey Porter Jr. is a very good corner. He will be able to shut down absolutely anyone on that Ravens receiving core. And he'll get a little bit of help from Minkah Fitzpatrick on Zay Flowers. Those two take Flowers completely out of the game. Then you just got left to deal with Rashad Bateman and the tight ends. Well, I think the Steelers drafted a tight end dominator in this draft. One of my favorite players out of the entire draft, Wolfpack player, Peyton Wilson, who is an athletic freak. you will be seeing videos of him in the gym all off season because dude is just different athletically than really anything you'll see. Like he rivals, not quite in the strength department, but in like the physical freakiness, the box jumps, the speed, he rivals Myles Garrett. So he's going to be able to take out, I think, one of your tight ends, and then the other linebackers in this defense are solid. You've got Patrick Queen, you've got Alex Highsmith, and then Cam Hayward can help stop the run with Derrick Henry, which that's obviously the biggest thing you got to deal with. The passing stuff is kind of all secondary. Number one goal is get to Derrick Henry early before he can pick up a head of steam, because as soon as he gets rolling, he's tough to bring down.
Yeah, see, I agree. All the defenses in this division are good and tough, and most of them are going to have the same attack plan on this Ravens offense. If it's me, I'm going to work out with the Browns tonight. I'm going to go after that run game first, like Austin just mentioned. I'm going to try to take away part of what the Ravens want to do, and I feel like I can do that. I feel like I can take away the run game if I'm the Browns, at least slow it down a lot, bring down that yards per play a lot, rushing yards per play. After that, there's a part of me, I'm going to rush Lamar Jackson in order to not give him as much time to throw or make decisions, but I don't want to rush him just so he can run out there and throw 60-yard bombs or run for 30-yard first downs. I don't want that. So I want to condense the pocket, but make sure he doesn't get outside of that, doesn't break that containment, which is really hard to do because he's really good. But I really want to bring in my defense. I want to shrink it a lot, just into that kind of 5, 8, 10-yard zone as much as I can, take away all that underneath stuff with the tight ends as much as I can, make it as hard to throw into those tight windows as I can, take away the running game, and keep Lamar from catching the edges. If I do all that, I'm basically daring Lamar to throw to this group of receivers deep. And you know, if he beats me deep with this particular group of receivers, I think I'll just live with it. But I want to take away all the other stuff. I don't want him running for lots of first downs. I don't want Derrick Henry getting lots of 4 and 5 and 6 yard chunks. And I don't want a lot of easy passes to the tight ends. So I'm just going to compact this defense as much as I can. And then I like what Austin said about doubling basically Zay Flowers, who I think is obviously the best receiver on this team. So that's kind of my attack plan. Sometimes I think it doesn't matter. If Lamar's on, he's just on. And if he's off, he's just off at times. But that's going to be my game plan, especially when I've got a good defense like the Cleveland Browns. Okay, switching gears. That's actually very good work. I love that the Ravens are going to have a very good team this year with high hopes. But this is us taking an honest look at them and seeing what we would try to do if we had a good team in the division going up against Baltimore. Topic number 4 tonight, stock investment. So we're going to take any of your current fake money. The leaderboard has switched up just a little bit. Actually, that's not even right there. Left myself at, there we go. I'm at 900. But anyway, Youssef made a rebound right there. So he's back up to 347, Austin at 385, Shane at 160 right now, and I'm still sitting at 900, getting some lucky picks so far. So WNBA stock investment, pick any team you want starting Thursday through Sunday. Any games they play will contribute towards your winning percentage for how many points you can get. Shane, who's your WNBA team for the week?
I went with the Lynx for this week. Last week, as Austin normally says, he doesn't like to go for the low-hanging fruit. We kind of did quite a few of us in the one game, and all they had to do was win, and the Liberty could pull it out for us. But I think the Lynx are a decent team. Obviously have some opportunity to pick up some games, but the WNBA this year, the top couple of teams have been really competitive. They have had off nights, but I think anyone in those top rungs is going to get you a decent chance to win this.
Shane, me, you, and Austin picked the Liberty last week because they had one game and because they're right now this regular season team. And they lost.
One game. Just needed one victory and maybe not let Caitlin Clark shoot every single time she got the ball. But
just keep shoving her to the floor a little bit. She'll stop shooting. All right, yourself. What WNBA team you got?
All right. Yeah, I'm learning that winning percentage doesn't matter in WNBA. Anybody can win on any given night. I'm figuring that thing out. So really hard to prep for this question. So thanks, Ben, for the hard work that I had to go through. I'm going with the Aces on this one. They got 3 players in the top 10 in scoring. Plum has stepped her game up big time. Most minutes on the team, turned into a workhorse, man. She's doing all the grunt work and she's scoring too. And she's driving the lane and she's distributing. She's turned into quite a player. She got rid of that hangnail Darren Waller, so now she's playing a whole lot better now. So it's awesome. But they play in Seattle, Atlanta, and Washington, combined record of 25 and 33. I'm going to invest $75 on this situation. I think the Aces can make this thing work out for me. Get me back in the race a little bit.
I like it. I'm gonna come back to that later. Shane, I neglected to ask how much you're investing this week on your Lynx team.
I'm going with 100.
All right.
Oh, come on, Shane, go higher.
I don't have much else to spend.
That's weird.
All
That's
right,
weird
Austin.
to say.
Listen, I thought about sitting back and just kind of watching the market and see how it plays out. Maybe not, investing anything this week, but I was doing a little bit of research to see I was only going to take a matchup if invest if I really liked the opportunity here. And I stumbled across the same thing that Youssef did with the Aces. So, they're playing 3 games. Maybe I learned my lesson about maybe not taking a team that just plays once, because if you lose, they lose. I like a team that can, take 2 out of the 3 here. I think it's a pretty much a layup, and I'm at 385, I think. So I'm just going to invest 85. If I lose, I'm just down to 300.
All right, I like it. I'm going with the Aces as well. I'm going to drop a full 300 on them. They are just smoking hot right now. They were already starting to heat up a little bit right before Kelsey Gray came back, but since she came back, I think they've only lost 1 game. They are just flat out tearing it up. And then y'all, of course, mentioned the 3 teams that they're playing. So I love the Aces here. I really like my chances to capitalize on that. So definitely love the Aces. That's where we're going tonight. Next, number 5, series of the week, MLB Twins at the Giants, 3-game series. It'll happen over the weekend. Shane, who you got?
I got the Twins with 10. The Twins have been one of these teams the last couple of years that sticks around. They end up winning. Right now, Brooks Lee, draft a lot, is smoking the ball, really helping them. The Twins do a lot of things well, and Giants, I'm not trusting on their ability to pull out a series in this one.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if anybody picks the Giants here. I'm interested to see if Austin's dug up any pitching matchups or anything. Yourself, what you got?
I'm going Twins. 7-3 in their last 10. Joe Ryan should be the starter in that first game. I love me some whip, man. His whip is under 1. Logged over 100 innings, over 100 strikeouts, 10 starts. So he's a workhorse for sure. So they should be able to pull that one out. That next game is going to be that Saturday game is going to be weird because you got a rookie that's had the same numbers as a guy that's been there for a while. It's like that probably shouldn't be happening. Wow. So that's kind of a push. And that Sunday game has Blake Snell, the guy that we wanted on the Yankees so bad. That man is stinking up the joint right now. So you can stay where you're at, pal. We don't want that kind of stuff around here. So I think the Twins can get at least 2 out of this, maybe even a sweep. So I'm excited to see that happens. They're 4th best in the AL, man. So yeah, they got a stellar home and away record, man. They're doing really good, like Shane said, man. So I'm going with a 10 on that one for the Twins to at least win 2 out of the 3.
They got a good team. Austin.
This one's tough. As you mentioned, I always look at pitching matchups. That's kind of something that I pay a lot of attention to, just generally speaking. The Giants have 2 lefties going. The Twins hit lefties pretty well. So I don't like that. But one of the lefties is Blake Snell, who's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. He won it last year. He's had a really rough start, but he had a super late start. I'm starting to see some things click with him on the mound. So I'm looking for him to kind of get back into it. The Twins don't really even have a good start. That's probably a bullpen game for them on Sunday. So I like Snell to beat their bullpen. So that's one game I took for the Giants. And then I was trying to look for one more. And I think I found it. I think the second matchup of the series has Simeon Woods Richardson, who has like the longest name in baseball, pitching for the Twins, who's pretty good. But Mr. Harrison Birdsong, who also a great name. I mean, just a matchup of elite pitching names there. But Birdsong is only pitched a couple games in the MLB level. He's one of those guys who's in that kind of weird in-between stage for pitching where teams are starting to get data on him, but nothing's concrete, and he can mix it up while he's improving and getting more comfortable pitching against big league opponents. So I think this kind of stretch when when an MLB pitcher, a rookie comes up and they're like third through seventh games, I think is kind of prime to just show up and have a great outing a few times in that stretch. So I'm looking for the Giants to take 2 out of 3 here. I'm taking the Giants.
All right. I wondered if Austin would pull something out, and he did. I'm going to stick with the Twins. I just think they're the better team. So I'll stick with them just on that principle alone, and we'll find out next week. Number 6 tonight, 10-5-1. So we won't actually find out about this one until 2 weeks from now on our podcast on our show. But a week from tonight, MLB All-Star Game, National League at American League on Fox. Austin, you're the baseball guy. I'm going to let you start on this one, and the rest of us are just going to poach off of whatever you put out there, plus whatever we've come up with as well. Austin, you're up.
So if you want to hear more about the All-Star teams, and you want to hear my opinion, I'm gonna direct you to my own podcast. I'm gonna give a lot more details there, but just for a quick rundown, I really like this American League team. They have so much firepower. I think in terms of home runs, like if you're just looking for raw home run numbers, the AL certainly have a higher chance of hitting a home run. I think pitching for them actually is a little weaker than the National League, but the thing about the All-Star game is Paul Skeens or Chris Sale, whoever the NL decides to go with starting isn't going to pitch, a 5, innings. It's going to be 2 innings. And then the next guy's going to get maybe 2, and then it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And so the pitching matchups aren't really something I even look at for the All-Star game. It's fun to watch, but in terms of picking a winner, I just look at the offense. Which offense do I think has more pop? And that's clearly the AL this year.
All right. I'm curious to see if either guy has come up with anything different. By the way, Shane, is that a Texas Longhorn jacket I'm looking at tonight?
It is.
All right. Last week it was Texas Tech, and tonight it's Texas Longhorns.
I'm trying to get all the former Southwest Conference teams that are traveling. This is now SEC country, so I figure you guys will get a chance to see them a little bit more. I went against Austin on this one. I think he makes the best point that offensively the AL is the more dominant, especially in run production. And I think he really hits on the point that it's going to be Paul Skeens and Sale. They're each going to pitch 2. The question is, do they strike out 6 in those 2? Paul Skeens right now literally is dominant at a level that no pitcher who's been brought up this quickly has ever been. I like the NL just to pull it out. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I picked the NL on this one.
I would love to see a high-scoring game. I really would. I can remember watching a 2-0 All-Star game at Wrigley in 1990, and I was so disappointed. I didn't show up as an 11-year-old kid to watch a 2-0 All-Star game, but that's what we got that night. Yusef.
All right, goodness. I can't pass. I would. This was a toughie, man. Pitching wasn't a factor in it for me either. I think Austin already stated that eloquently already. I was just looking at the hitters, man, because that's kind of what it's all about, especially the DHs. I'm not quite sure if Harper's going to be totally healthy. That's the thing, because he had some injury right now. So you got to monitor that. Ohtani's going to be DHing from what I saw so far, and you got Tatis back there too. But I'm going to go with the AL. If the guys I saw that were nominated are going to be playing, lower strike rate, better defense overall. Those are the 2 things that I'm looking at in a game like this too, not just the hitting. And the AL definitely had the advantage there. I'm concerned about Shohei and Ohtani and Harper. They hit for more power than most anybody else, excluding maybe Judge and Soto. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm nervous about it, but I'm going to go 5 on this because I'm not totally sure. I'm going AL with 5.
I like it. I'm actually going to go American League as well. There aren't many players, it's so difficult, who can hit a home run on demand in any game, anytime, anywhere. Shohei is the closest I've ever seen, and I've seen Barry Bonds, I've seen Ken Griffey Jr. I saw Cal Ripken rip one in the 95, 96 All-Star game. I've seen a lot. Shohei's ability to pull one at almost any single given moment, I would love to see it. So I'm hoping he pulls one out and American League wins. That's what I'm going to go with for my betting this week. All right, it is time for our final 60 seconds. Shane, you're up.
So for my final 60, I went with every other member of this podcast. So mine is an attitude of gratitude. This week, I took some extra time. As Yusuf had mentioned before, I started following him on all profiles. If you want to check out his podcast, get some life skills. Yusuf covers everything from cooking to gardening to how your life can change with one moment. Some pretty powerful podcasts, especially if you look in season 1. For Austin, we've had Austin and Connor on before with the tricky takes, especially if you're looking for baseball. This is a place to go. The guys do a great job of breaking it down. They all have different concepts on what they're looking for, but well done. And, you know, the boss man on Ben, if you're looking for a background one that I caught up on was broke down the Coastal Carolina offense a couple years ago. That's my type of stuff. So just a shout out to everybody else on the podcast. Is the one guy that doesn't do any other social media, but have enjoyed following everybody else and seeing what they do in their time. So thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Shane. Really do appreciate the shout out all across the board there. Yeah, so very much. All right.
Make me cry on this show. Awesome.
All right.
I have the picture next to me.
Yusuf, your final 60, man. What you got?
All right, my pet peeve. I don't have many of those, but besides Charleston driving, is the delays in movie sequels. Sherlock Holmes, Safe House, National Treasure, Ocean's 11, Salt. Where are you? It's been over a decade. We're still waiting. I know my fandom isn't what it used to be, but the dysfunctional part of me is like, I don't like not finishing something. Kind of like that Big Bang Theory episode where Sheldon hadn't learned how to not finish something. Sung the whole national anthem at the start right before it was over with. He almost freaked out. That's what I'm at with Hobbs and Shaw. They banked $759 million worldwide. A follow-up was a done deal, man. That kind of money had The Rock, had Kevin Hart, you had Jason Statham. So it's not a writer's strike thing. It's been over 5 years and they're still talking about a sequel. I'm like, this is a no-brainer right here. It's been more than 5 years. And maybe just me, but I want to know who the director is. The identity of the director. That's the biggest part of this. Who's the director that's pulling the strings behind? I want to know that stuff. It's been 5 years. I'm almost like not caring anymore. So a sequel more than 10 years should never, ever happen. It's kind of like having your fingernails pulled out with pliers. It's not pleasant. It should never happen. That's what's happening right now.
No, totally agree, man. Sequels, what, every 3 or 4 years? That's
2, I hope.
Every 2 years. Okay, even better.
I was sick after year 3.
Hey, you had me at Ocean's 11 because I think there's what, Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 plus the women's Oceans, I think. But man, there's no reason you can't crank out ocean movies. Are easy to make, right? I mean, you just get some big name actors, you throw them out there, they try to steal something big, right? There's no
talking about it.
3 years, right?
What's to talk about? It's right there. Right there.
All right, Austin, your final 60.
All right. Well, I went and saw a new movie this week. I went and saw A Quiet Place Day One. I'm a big fan of The Quiet Place, especially the first one with John Krasinski. I think that is such an incredible film. The sequel, speaking of sequels, was pretty solid. I did enjoy it. This third installment, though, Day One, is interesting. It's a completely different take. It takes place in New York City. It follows a incredibly well acted cancer patient. I think the actress is Lupita Nyong'o, if that's how you say it. I'm not, I don't have the best pronunciation skills of foreign names, but she does an incredible job of portraying this cancer patient who's terminal, like very late stage, and she has a little like cat that's with her the whole time and is the most adorable little kitten. It's a really heartwarming story at times. It has kind of the jump scare elements that A Quiet Place seems to have. I think one interesting thing, though, is if you're someone who just saw the first one, they never showed the things with the aliens, what they look like. But from the as soon as they land, you get an up close personal look at what they look like, and it brings a whole different kind of angle into it, knowing what they look like and kind of seeing what these characters are seeing as well. The ending kind of wraps it all up beautifully. I'm not going to spoil it anything, obviously, but it kind of shows you what's going to happen at the from the beginning. It tells a story, and the story resolves very well. There's no, big underlying flaw that I saw with the ending. And I think that's something that a lot of movies these days try and do. They try to overdo the ending and kind of throwing a wrench in it, but they just kind of let it play out as it needed to. And it was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it.
All right, go check it out. Still in theaters, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Go check it out. For my final 60, Netflix algorithm has figured out that I like documentaries, so it keeps shuffling me a bunch of documentaries, and I keep watching them. So I watched 3 this week. I'm only going to focus on one. It's called Going Clear. It's a 2-hour doc, not a 6 or a 10 for some of you who don't like the long ones yourself. It's a 2-hour doc based on all about Scientology. I thought it was really well done. And again, with any journalism, any doc, any article anywhere, you're going to get different viewpoints. So the people inside it will have a different viewpoint from the people making the film, and I will have a different viewpoint as an observer. But I really enjoyed this doc, 2 hours. Good piece of history, showed origins of Scientology. Then it had, well, my favorite part was it had several people who were in it and who were important 10, 20 years ago, and they're far enough removed from it to where they felt like they could speak on camera about it. In a lot of cases, being really honest about stuff they had done. So again, I'm not trying to knock any particular group here, but the documentary itself, I really enjoyed from start to finish, every little bit of it. So I'm going to check it out. It's called Going Clear on Netflix. All right, everybody, thank y'all so much. One quick final note. Odds on favorites is one podcast we're doing. We have been besieged by technical difficulties over the past 2 or 3 weeks. We have not quit recording. So we may end up posting them on YouTube instead of on Apple or Spotify. We're going to keep working on that. Go check out Tricky Takes. Go check out Yusef. They call me Mr. U. And Shane, I know it's just a matter of time before you're on other stuff. I'm assuming it's just because you don't want to be on other stuff because you're very good at it. So when you're on other stuff, give us a shout out, okay?
You're the first one to come my way, Ben. So
hey, whoa, wait. I didn't know that you were available.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, if you guys ever need somebody to come on and chat about anything, I'd certainly help you guys out. But yeah, no, I'm not. There's no time coming where I'm running my own podcast. So
you available on Monday morning? Let's go.
Monday morning, you tell me when you need me, Yusuf.
You said nothing but a word. I need your phone number. That's all I need. Your phone number. That's all I need. Ready to go.
You got it,
baby. I put you to work. You're a free agent no more. Let's go.
Welcome to the squad.
Yeah. Got you. That's good. That's great news.
Thank you for listening. Thanks to all our panel members as always. Have a great one. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.